My name is Carolina Busoli. I'm a junior and I attend Mass Academy. My name is Sofia Busoli. I'm also a junior and I also go to Mass Academy.
So I guess what happened that made you guys realize that you needed our service?
Um, I'm gonna answer that one. I took my PSAT scores, like my PSAT, my like sophomore year and freshman year, and I did pretty good. I got a 1430 or something. And then I took my first SAT November of junior year and I got a 1470 and I realized that I hadn't increased that much from my PSAT score. And then I was like, what do I have to do to improve it? Like I don't want to stay like the same. So for some reason I put a goal that I wanted to get to a 1500. And so I knew I had to study, and my math score was the lowest out of like my two scores. So I decided to focus on math. And my friend had already done piece of pie and she recommended it for us. So we decided to do it.
That's the same for both of you?
Yeah, basically my first SAT score was a 1370 and I was not happy with it. Because we compare ourselves a lot because people compare us a lot. So I was like I want to get at least a 1500 because I feel like that's like an average, like a good score for like top colleges. So that was my goal and I knew I needed a lot of help in math. So I knew I
That
needed.
that being said, when it comes to math, what was both of yours a situation with that? Like just math in general at school? Like what math class were you in? Were you strong at math?
Overall, math is like one of my favorite subjects. So I was really upset that I needed to do better in math because I actually really like math. So I was like, that has to be my strong point in the SAT. There's no way I'm gonna do better in my reading because I'm not that great at reading either. Like math is my strong suit at school. And then we were in our pre-calc class, and we do pretty well. Like overall. We do better in math than history and reading in general. So we knew that if we were going to do better in the SAT, it would be through the math route. Yeah.
Makes sense. I can attest you guys are pretty good at math. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
We really like algebra too. Like I really liked
Yeah.
algebra and pre-algebra. And so like math was not the easiest, but like what we wanted to focus on.
You didn't like geometry or pre-cal as much?
I don't like geometry.
Geometry, no.
That's one thing that we like I struggled with, like the SAT problems that have like the shapes and like geometry. That's a little harder for me. Shapes are
All the
not.
shapes. I don't want these shapes.
No.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I was random, but I was actually an algebra person too. That's always the thing. It's like, are you an algebra or a geometry person? It's never
Yeah.
both. And I was in the same boat, but now I like it all, you know. But anyways, that's cool though. So you guys are strong in math, but you guys, you know what, you wanted to get like that top of the line score,
Yes.
right? To apply, I'm assuming, to top schools.
Yeah, like our goal schools, like
The reach schools.
the reach schools, like they have like average SAT scores of 1500 or more.
Higher.
So we wanted to get at least a 1500.
Yeah, those schools are crazy.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so your friend let you know, cool, and then I forget if we ever had that meeting.
Like the before we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
did.
a meeting with you and our mom, and we talked about like how it worked and what days we could do and like how long it was, like what it entailed, and then we decided that we liked it and it was
A good option.
It was a good option. It would work for us because we could do it in the weekend because our weekdays are way too busy. So having a weekend like class was really good for us, and it worked with our schedule, and it was math, so we were like, yeah, it sounds good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And actually, so in that moment when we were talking, what was your expectation of the virtual group environment?
We had done a tutoring class for the PSAT with like something that our school provided. And we were expecting it to be like that, but it was completely different. The tutoring that we did for the PSAT was very full, like a Zoom meeting with like more than 100 kids. So we were expecting it to be more towards that side, but when we got into the first class, I was super surprised that it was like a smaller group of kids that you broke out into little like distinguished groups, and that I don't know, it was more individualized than I was expecting. And that was really good for me. Like that you could have like one-on-one time with the teacher if you needed to, or you could stay extra time after and ask questions and stuff like that. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it was gonna be more like a big class with just going over problems and problems and problems. And then if you had a question, you had to like figure out yourself.
Yeah. Reminds me of when I was in math class and just like you get lost and you're just like, oh, I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
You never figure it out. It's like,
Yeah, no, this was like different. This really helped because like the assignments you gave and the homeworks were like all individualized for you, and like the groups were small, and so you could talk to the teacher and ask questions. And the groups were also like very similar to you. Like we had this almost like the same strengths and like weaknesses, so like everybody worked like well together. Like if I didn't know a problem, the other people probably didn't know it either. Or if I knew it, all the other people probably knew it too. Like everyone was kind of together.
facts. Yeah, I mean that's the goal. It's to segment you guys by level. So I'm glad that that worked out and it wasn't like your other experience.
No, not at all.
Um, I guess so. I mean, you've kind of described it all, but if a student asked you, how would you describe the service to them? Like, what should they know? Like, something that I guess you haven't said yet.
I feel like I would tell people that it's very like a lot of dedication. There are the tutorings during the week, and it's like once a week for us at least. And then you guys assign homework that was related to the topic that we learned in class, and that was very helpful. Like everything that maybe I didn't understand at the time, I got to go over it in the homework, or like reinforce my knowledge that I learned. And also like I think that the biggest thing is not only the tutoring classes, is like it's also like doing your homework every time that you have a chance, and like taking full advantage of all like the worksheets you guys give us, the practice tests. The practice tests helped so much. So much. We did like 20 practice tests. Like all the ones that you guys had, you guys assigned it and we did them. And I think that like helped really a lot because you get an idea of what the actual test is like. Yeah. And timing wise is super important. Like overall, like test taking skills is very important. And I think the practice tests were really helpful. And like how you guys graded it so quickly, and you could see like what you got wrong and what you had to work on, and the videos that explained like the problems you got wrong, that helped a lot because like you could go over the questions you knew you didn't like get. And I really liked also how you could focus, like you had the homework, but like you had to have it done by like the next class. So there's like no specific like time that you had to do the homework, but you just had to get it done. And when you get to class, like everybody knew what you were talking about because you had talked about it in the last class, and like there was homework, and yeah, it really helped. It flowed a lot. Yeah, everything was connecting.
There was a flow. Yeah, there was definitely a method to the madness. And I mean, that's really where I come in, and I'm in the background, kind of just, we're gonna hit them with this one this week, and then we'll bring it back with this, and then this problem here. So yeah. I'm glad you guys, you realize that
it worked. It really worked.
Yeah, because otherwise I get no, I don't even teach anymore, so it's like I'm just in the back, like no credit, So that's great. And but you said it worked, right? So yeah. What result did we ultimately help you get?
I had a 1470 on my first SAT, and I had a 730 on my math score. And after piece of pie, I was able to get a 1530 on my SAT, and I got my math score up to a 790. So I got up 60 points on my math, and it helped me a lot. My score increased to what I wanted, even more, because I just wanted 1500 and I got a 1530. So I was really happy with the outcome. we took two SATs, and in both of them my overall score was a 1500, which was my goal. But I'm super scoring, so I'm taking my reading from one and the math from the other, and the math that I'm using is a 790. Previously, before Piece of Pie, I was a 650, and I got up to a 790 in my math score. So
Nice.
yeah.
-1. I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah.
No, what did you guys figure out what problem that was, or you didn't even look at that point?
No, we did look
We
actually.
were looking, yeah. I think it was the one.
It was in the non-calculator section. We got the same one wrong.
Yeah, I think it was how to find the volume of.
It was like a
The ice cream cone?
yes.
Ice cream cone one.
Out of all people, I thought y'all would have had that. I was like,
No.
And they put different answers too.
Yeah, I got something different. She got something different. They were both wrong.
Yeah.
it's because nobody knew how to find the radius of the full height. I looked at that problem and I'm just like, man, I have to add another problem to the course now. Like just like that one. No, they got you. And that wasn't even one of the last problems. It was like number 10 or so. I don't know.
Yeah, and it said it was a medium level problem. I was like, that is not medium.
That's what I tell people. It's that, the SAT, the test makers, or college board, right? They're not, I mean, they try their best to make these tests accurate in difficulty, but sometimes they're super off, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, everyone got it wrong. Like, all my best students got it wrong. You calling it medium, bro? Like, what?
Yeah, it was a difficult problem. I was like, we left the room and I was like, what did you get for that problem? So we said something like, I didn't get that. Like, I didn't know how to do it. That's
actually wild, because you guys were two of them are top students and you both got it wrong picking a different. That means that you both missed the
Yeah.
What are the odds? What are the odds, man?
Yeah.
But hey, who cares, right? One problem. I've don't worry, I've gotten -1. There's been 2 times that I got a 790. I got -1, and one time I got number 1 wrong. So it's I don't even want to know what it was, and I'm good. Cool. So, and I guess what has this result meant for you?
Well, I guess it reduced like my stress from going into senior year. It's one thing that I don't have to worry about, like my score. I have some friends that are still working on their ACT scores and their SAT scores. They still want to get higher, and they're struggling now because testing season has started. So they have to study for their test, they have to study for the ACT and the SAT. So they're stressing a lot, and they think they might not even get their score. So they have to do it next year, senior year. And for college apps, that's already a lot of stress. So even more stress with the scores and the SAT. So I think it was good that
we got it over with.
Yeah, we got it over with junior year, and I have the score I want, and I can apply to the colleges I want with the score I got, and if I want, I can get Bright Futures too, which is really helpful too. And yeah, with the score I got, I think I can apply and use the score to a lot of my college apps. I don't have to go test optional.
I think you're good.
Yeah, I think you're good too.
You're both okay. So, what are your top schools?
As of now, I think we don't know what we want to do. So we're not looking into the specific majors, but we're looking more as the overall vibe of the school, or where it's located, and the life that there. We're very city girls. We don't want to live in a random location that there's nothing to do.
Columbia?
We thought of Columbia,
but that's a reach.
That's a goal.
Really hard to get into. But that's one of the top ones that we really like. There's also obviously other schools like UPenn, which is super hard too, but I really like the campus there. My parents really like Duke because it's close to where my dad works. And it's a really good school too. There's obviously other schools, but
Boston schools.
We really like Boston.
Yeah, and even
Florida
schools too.
UF is obviously super good now.
I'm not really knowledgeable on the Florida schools, but I know they're good. I don't.
UF is solid. I mean, all the Florida schools are great.
Yeah.
But you guys, I mean, and UF's a little weird, so maybe not like you should be a shoe-in for most Florida schools.
Yeah.
UM is great. I almost forgot UM. Sorry, UM. UM's great too. FSU's I. I'm gonna get hate for this. Oh my god.
We're looking forward to out of state.
Yeah,
schools, though.
we want to go out of state.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you guys have what it takes to go out of state. And I think the biggest thing with that is if you can get in somewhere out of state, it's a huge just like learning experience. Like I went out of state and it was, you know, just changed my life. So I always think it's a great growing opportunity. When you say Boston, you trying to go to Harvard, bro? Or are you trying to go to like
No. I don't think that I'm gonna apply to Harvard. But like, if you visited BU, there's Boston College, there's
Northeastern.
I don't know, Northeastern.
Northwestern? I think by you, Chicago.
Yeah, there's Northeastern. I think I would apply to Northwestern too. I've never been to Chicago, like Chicago area, but like there's
Chicago and Northwestern are pretty good schools, and
yeah, it's just the cold.
I was gonna say, so I went to Cornell, and that was the one thing that I was like, if you're just looking for the vibe, bro, I don't know about the vibes.
Yeah, it's cold, but yeah, those schools also like I would also apply to. I've also heard of Georgetown in Washington, but like they're all like top schools. They're all like reach schools.
You said at this point you guys have everything else set up. You just have to like have a really strong essay now.
Yeah.
That's the last step, to be honest. So awesome. And I wonder, man, this is a weird thing to think about, but because you guys are twins, I wonder how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know
either.
Because they always say like admissions like diversity. So I think we would kind of ruin that because we're like the same person.
Or you wouldn't. Because then, but you both got to get in. It's like, that's unique, you know?
I guess. That's true.
You got to hit him with that one, bro. So, all right. We kind of went off tangent there. What advice would you give other students currently on their SAT math prep journey?
We have different tips to give.
I would say just like put dedication and hard work into it, and for piece of 5 specifically, do like the homework you assign and all the practice tests that really help. It may seem like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work, but in the end it does pay off because you eventually will get to the score you want. At least I did. And just I also have the tip of try not to compare yourself to others all the time, especially like with scores, because that brings you down and that can hurt your confidence, and in the end in the test, like that can hurt how you perform. And even though you see like other people getting other scores, just try to focus on yourself and like put a lot of hard work into it, and eventually you'll get to your goal.
That's kind of what I would say too. Like dedication, it's not luck, it's just hard work. And I think also it doesn't make sense to like do the whole course and not use it to its full like potential, you know what I mean? Like if you have this like so much that you guys give us, and you have to use it because that's what actually helps, like the homeworks and the tests. And also like I think comparing yourself also does not help at all with doing better. It actually just brings you down. And like overall I think those like are my tips. I think not comparing yourself and just working really hard, because it's not luck. And I think it's not a question of like who's smarter than someone else. It's just like getting used to the test, and like test taking is super important. Like just getting used to the questions that they ask you, because like you always said, you were like, there's just a certain amount of questions they can ask you. They just change the numbers and like the format. You have to become like accustomed to it, because that helps a lot.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. All right. Is there anything else we should know?
I don't think so.
All right. Awesome. So thank you. That was really good.
No, thank you.